In the heart of the cosmos, an ancient alien empire lay shrouded in the darkness of space, their ships gliding silently. Through the void-like phantoms in the night, the Zenthari had long sought new worlds to conquer their insatiable hunger for resources, driving them to explore the furthest reaches of the galaxy, and now their gaze had fallen upon a blue planet teeming with life. On Earth, humanity was blissfully unaware of the approaching threat. Scientists celebrated a groundbreaking discovery in renewable energy, a technology that promised to revolutionize how the planet harnessed its resources, energy from the very fabric of nature itself. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the atmosphere glowed with the excitement of possibility. Gatherings were held in cities across the globe to discuss the potential of this new technology. Conversations flowed filled with hope and dreams of a brighter future. But light often casts deep shadows, and while the people of Earth looked upward with wonder, the Zenthari ships lingered just beyond the edge of detection. Their advanced cloaking technology rendered them invisible to human sensors. The fleet commander, named Vorith, a being of immense power and intellect, stood at the helm of his flagship, a colossal warship adorned with alien symbols, pulsating with an otherworldly energy. Vorith gazed upon the blue planet through the viewport his mind, calculating the possibilities of conquest. He envisioned vast resources, untapped potential, ready to be harvested. His thoughts were interrupted by the voice of his chief advisor, a nervous creature named Kale, who had always sensed the danger of underestimating lesser species. Commander, the scans reveal intelligent life forms on the surface, but they appear primitive in their understanding of the cosmos. We should proceed with caution. Vorith waved a dismissive hand, his confidence unshaken. These humans are nothing but ants scurrying beneath our feet. He said with a smirk, they possess no technology capable of challenging us. Their civilizations are divided, their forces weak. It is time to expand our empire, and they will be the perfect addition to our resources. As the Zenthari fleet prepared for descent across the galaxy, news of the impending invasion began to spread like wildfire within the halls of power on Earth. Scientists monitored strange readings from deep space. The anomalies detected hinted at the presence of something enormous approaching. Their planet alarms sounded in research facilities and command centers as experts scrambled to decipher the data. Dr. Elena Reyes, a renowned astrophysicist, stood at the forefront of the investigation with determination. Etched on her face, she pieced together the signals and recognized the unmistakable signs of an invasion. "They are coming," she whispered to her team, her voice trembling with urgency. "We have to warn the world before it's too late." Within hours, an emergency summit was called. Leaders from around the globe gathered in a secure location, their faces pale with the weight of the news. Dr. Reyes presented her findings, urging immediate action. She emphasized the importance of sending a warning message to the alien fleet. Even if it was a long shot, they had to try before it was too late. As the world held its breath, humanity prepared to send its final plea across the cosmos, a last-ditch effort to prevent catastrophe. They crafted a message filled with hope, yet laced with the desperation of a species clinging to survival. As the transmission beamed into the vast emptiness of space, it was their only hope to avert the impending doom, and little did they know it would soon be ignored as the shadow of the Zenthari fleet loomed ever closer. As the transmission pierced the vastness of space, Earth held its breath. Every eye turned skyward in anticipation and fear. The message contained a plea for peace, a call for understanding amidst the chaos, a desperate hope that the aliens would recognize the value of coexistence rather than destruction. But as the message traveled through the void, it faced an indifferent silence from the alien fleet. Back on the flagship of the Zenthari fleet, Commander Vorith leaned back in his ornate chair, a sense of triumph radiating from him. He reveled in the power of his position, believing himself to be invincible. As the fleet began its descent into the atmosphere, he ordered his crew to prepare for the impending attack. The anticipation in the air crackled like static electricity as they readied their weapons and charged their energy shields. Meanwhile on Earth, Dr. Elena Reyes and her team of scientists anxiously monitored the response from the alien ships as they awaited any indication that their message had been received. Minutes turned into hours as the silence weighed heavily upon them. The urgency of the situation settled into the bones of the assembled leaders. They understood the gravity of their message, the weight of what it could mean for the future of humanity. Elena felt a knot form in her stomach. The data displayed on the screens was alarming. The Zenthari ships continued their course unperturbed, as if the message had never been sent. Her colleagues shared worried glances, their faces mirroring her own dread. Commander Vorith has dismissed us. She thought. The realization hit like a wave crashing against the shore. They are coming for us regardless. In the command center, world leaders debated their next move. Tensions simmered as the clock ticked down to an inevitable confrontation. They had sent their warning, yet the alien commander had shown no sign of heeding their call. In that moment of desperation, a young military strategist named Marcus stepped forward, his voice steady and resolute. We must prepare for battle. If they ignore our warning, we have to show them the strength of humanity. His words ignited a spark of determination in the room. The leaders rallied around the idea of unity, facing a common threat. They understood that they had to act swiftly in the face of impending doom. Plans were drafted, alliances forged as nations pooled their resources and military strength together for the first time in history. Meanwhile, Vorith surveyed the planet from the bridge of his flagship, a malicious grin spreading across his face. He relished the idea of showcasing Zenthari superiority. He ordered his fleet to enter a tactical formation, preparing for a show of force that would crush any remaining hope within the hearts of the humans. They would learn the futility of their resistance. He mused as he glanced at the screens filled with data about Earth's defenses. As the Zenthari ships broke through the atmosphere, humanity readied itself for the fight of its existence. Soldiers trained for this moment gathered their courage hearts pounding in their chests as they prepared to protect their home. The unity born of fear transformed into a burning resolve that filled them with purpose. They would not go down without a fight. The countdown to conflict had begun, with the stakes higher than ever. The final moments before the storm hung in the air, charged with an electric tension. Both sides stood poised for what was to come, neither aware of the true strength that would soon be unleashed, nor the legacy that this battle would leave behind. As Earth braced for impact, the Zenthari fleet descended toward a planet they believed would be theirs for the taking. As the alien fleet descended toward Earth, Commander Vorith remained convinced of his superiority. The atmosphere crackled with anticipation as his ships lined up in a fearsome array above the planet, each vessel a testament to Zenthari technology and might. They had conquered countless worlds before, and this would be no different. The humans would be no match for their advanced weaponry or tactical prowess. Vorith surveyed the control room, filled with his most trusted advisors, each one awaiting his command. His eyes glinted with arrogance as he spoke. Our scanners indicate minimal defenses. We will initiate the attack at full power. I want every ship primed and ready. Let us show these pathetic creatures the consequences of defiance. His words dripped with disdain, and his crew responded with eager nods. Meanwhile, the scientists and military leaders on Earth worked tirelessly to devise a plan. They understood that conventional tactics would not suffice against such a formidable foe. The united forces rallied under the leadership of General Morgan, a seasoned strategist who had fought in numerous conflicts. He gathered the brightest minds and urged them to innovate, thinking beyond traditional warfare. We need to use their arrogance against them. He declared we must find a way to strike before they realize their mistake. In the heart of the command center, tension mounted as reports flooded in. The Zenthari fleet was now entering a lower orbit, their massive silhouettes blocking out the sun, casting shadows over cities below General Morgan's heart. raced as he watched the countdown on the screen's time was slipping away, and with it their chance to act. Elena Rees felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. The world was looking to her team for a breakthrough in this critical moment. Her mind raced as she recalled the potential of the new energy weapon they had developed. If they could harness its power at the right moment, it might just give humanity a fighting chance. She turned to her colleagues. "We have to make this work. We need to synchronize our efforts to unleash the weapon when they least expect it." As the Zenthari ships hovered above the planet Vorith, prepared to give the order for the first strike, his eyes glowed with excitement, anticipating the destruction they would unleash on the surface below. He leaned forward in his chair, relishing the moment. The humans would soon learn the folly of challenging the Zenthari Empire. He signaled to his second-in-command to initiate the attack, and the order rang out like a death knell across the fleet. Earth's defenses flickered to life as missile silos opened and artillery units took aim, targeting the descending ships. The soldiers and pilots held their breath as they waited for the command to engage. Then, without warning, the air erupted with a cacophony of sound as the first waves of missiles were launched hurtling toward the alien vessels. Vorith's eyes widened in disbelief as he watched the projectiles racing toward them, his arrogance faltering for the first time as the missiles struck with surprising force. Explosions erupted around the fleet, sending shockwaves through the ships, and alarms blared in the command center. The humans were fighting back, and they were doing so with a ferocity he had not anticipated. In that moment of chaos, a flicker of doubt crept into Vorith's mind. Had he underestimated them? He felt a surge of anger at his own miscalculation. He turned to his crew and shouted, "Return fire! Show them the true power of the Zenthari." But as the order was given, the atmosphere crackled with energy. The humans had one last trick up their sleeves, and the world braced itself for the impending clash that would determine the fate of their planet. They were ready to rise against the shadows and fight for their survival in a battle that would echo through the annals of history. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over military bases and government buildings, the air was thick with tension across the globe. Command centers buzzed with activity. Officers barked orders, while soldiers prepared for what they believed was the fight for humanity's survival. The world held its breath, waiting for the moment that would define its future. In a secure bunker beneath the Pentagon, a panel of top military leaders gathered around a holographic display of the alien fleet hovering ominously above Earth. The massive ships glinted coldly against the backdrop of space, their intimidating silhouettes sending chills through even the most seasoned generals. The head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Marcus Renfield, stood at the forefront, his jaw clenched as he addressed the room. "We cannot allow them to take the initiative. We must strike first," he declared, his voice low, but resolute. "They have already proven they will not hesitate to destroy us. We have no choice but to act." Opposing him, Dr. Ilara Carter, the leading scientist in extraterrestrial communications, stepped forward, her eyes blazing with conviction. "This is a mistake," she insisted. "They may not be here to attack at all. We need to reach out and find out what they want." General Renfield shook his head dismissively. "We do not have the luxury of time, Ilara. We have to show strength. If we wait any longer, it could mean our end." As the debate raged on, the clock ticked mercilessly forward. Minutes stretched into hours with every second that passed. The alien fleet remained poised and silent, their intentions unclear, but the threat palpable. In the command center, technicians prepared the experimental weapons designed to pierce the alien shields. A technology developed in secret under a project that had long been classified. The world had seen too many disasters unfold, too many enemies emerge from the dark, and they believed this time they could turn the tide. Finally, a consensus was reached. The order was given, and the military mobilized. Fighter jets and drones were sent into the skies armed with the new technology. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation and fear as the fleet of Earth's defenders took formation. Ilara watched from the bunker, her heart pounding in her chest. As she realized the enormity of what was about to happen, she had done everything she could to warn them, but now it felt as if she was watching a train crash in slow motion. As the first wave of ships launched into the void, the military celebrated its decisive action. But the moment they crossed the threshold of Earth's atmosphere, their excitement turned to dread. The alien fleet finally responded, activating their shields with an eerie synchrony that flickered to life like a storm igniting in the night sky. The first salvo of weapons was unleashed, and for a brief moment the air crackled with hope. But as the blasts collided with the alien shields, they dissipated into harmless sparks, revealing the futility of their attack. The aliens had anticipated this move, and their defenses were impenetrable. As the commanders stared in disbelief, the aliens counterattacked with a speed and precision that left no room for error. Their vessels unleashed a barrage of energy blasts that tore through the Earth's forces. Like paper, the shockwaves rippled outward as ships exploded in brilliant flashes of light. One by one they fell from the sky. Panic ensued in the command center. Alarms blared, and the realization sunk in that humanity's bravado had led them to their impending doom. The cries of soldiers echoed in the distance as chaos erupted outside. Ilara felt her stomach drop. She had tried to warn them, and now it was too late. The fate of the planet hung precariously in the balance as the alien fleet unleashed its wrath upon the world with devastating force. As the tension reached its peak both on the ground and in the skies above Earth, the air buzzed with anticipation. Every soldier felt the weight of the moment, as if the very planet held its breath, waiting for the inevitable clash. In the command center, General Morgan watched the countdown timer with fierce determination, each second ticking away like a heartbeat, echoing the resolve of a united humanity. Elena stood at her station, her fingers hovering over the activation controls. The energy weapon pulsed with power, its potential waiting to be unleashed. She exchanged glances with her colleagues, each of them sharing the same steely resolve. They understood the gravity of their mission. Failure was not an option. They would either turn the tide or risk losing everything. Outside the command center, the chaos of battle unfolded. Streets filled with soldiers and civilians alike. The sounds of explosions mingling with cries for help resonated through the air. Smoke curled upward, obscuring the sun. As the Zenthari retaliated with relentless fury, the earth shook under the weight of their weapons. But amidst the chaos, a sense of purpose emerged. Humanity was fighting back. In the sky, Vorith's fleet reorganized as the Zenthari commander strategized for the next phase of the attack. His arrogance had begun to fade as he realized the humans were not as weak as he had believed. Still, he remained resolute, believing that their advanced technology would ultimately prevail. He ordered his ships to prepare for a full-scale assault against the humans on the ground and in the air. As the countdown approached its end, General Morgan called for silence in the command center. Everyone focused intently on the screens, their hearts racing in sync with the timer. They could feel the energy building within the weapon, a tangible force that promised to unleash devastation upon the Zenthari fleet. In the moments before activation, Elena took a deep breath, her mind racing through the calculations. They had run simulations over and over, yet nothing could truly prepare them for the reality of combat. This was the moment they had prepared, for she would not let fear take hold. Now the world depended on them. At the forefront of the battle, soldiers pressed on, pushing forward against the Zenthari lines with renewed vigor. They fought with a fierce determination, fueled by the knowledge that they were not alone. They were part of something greater, a collective force that transcended borders and differences. The will to protect their home surged within them like a tidal wave, crashing against an enemy they could not allow themselves to lose. As the timer hit the final seconds, a hush fell over the command center. The energy weapon, now fully charged, its brilliance radiated with an intensity that illuminated the faces of those gathered. Everyone held their breath as Elena's voice rang out, its time activating now. With a surge of energy, the weapon released a blinding beam of light that shot upward, piercing the atmosphere and racing toward the Zenthari fleet. The brilliant display cut through the chaos like a knife, illuminating the sky with its raw power. As the beam connected with the alien ships, an explosive force erupted, sending shockwaves through the void. Voreth watched in horror as the energy beam struck his flagship, the brilliance overwhelming his senses. The force of the blast rattled the ship. As alarms blared around him, the Zenthari fleet had not anticipated such a powerful counterattack. The humans had revealed their hidden strength, and now the tide of battle was beginning to shift. As the energy beam wreaked havoc among the Zenthari vessels, the crew aboard the flagship scrambled to regain control. Voreth's arrogance shattered like glass. The humans were rising to the occasion, and the battle was far from over in that moment. The realization struck him they had underestimated the resilience of Earth and the true spirit of humanity, which would soon ignite a firestorm that would change the course of history forever. The air crackled with energy as the blinding beam of light struck the Zenthari fleet. The force of the blast reverberated through space, sending shockwaves that rattled the ships and disrupted their systems. The once confident Zenthari were now thrown into chaos as alarms blared and systems malfunctioned. Voreth struggled to regain control, his mind racing as he watched the devastation unfold. On Earth, the command center erupted in cheers as the energy weapon unleashed its fury. The faces of soldiers and scientists alike lit up with hope. They had struck a significant blow against the invaders, and yet they knew this was only the beginning. General Morgan raised a fist in triumph as he turned to his team. "We've done it. But we must stay vigilant. They will retaliate, and we need to be ready." As the Zenthari ships began to break formation and respond to the onslaught, their pride had been wounded, and Voreth could feel the anger boiling within him. He rallied his crew, barking orders to regroup and prepare for counterattack. "We cannot let this moment define us," he shouted. "We will crush them and remind them why the Zenthari Empire is feared across the galaxy." Across the battlefield, the soldiers of Earth felt a surge of energy as the initial success breathed life into their fight. They advanced with renewed vigor, pushing back against the remnants of the Zenthari forces, their resolve unwavering as they faced down the alien threat in a show of defiance that echoed through the hearts of every defender. In the skies above, the chaos unfolded as the Zenthari regrouped their ships, attempting to stabilize and recalibrate their weapons. The atmosphere was thick with the tension of impending conflict, and the vastness of space became a battleground where the fate of two worlds hung in the balance. Elena watched the monitors intently, analyzing the data coming in from the battlefield. The Zenthari were reeling, but she knew they would adapt. They always did. She turned to General Morgan. "Our advantage won't last. We need to anticipate their next move. We must be prepared for their retaliation." Just as she spoke, the Zenthari fleet launched a counteroffensive, their ships firing beams of energy that tore through the sky with deadly precision. The air shimmered as the attacks rained down on Earth's defenses. Explosions erupted across the landscape as the aliens retaliated with ferocity, their arrogance fueling their wrath. On the ground, the soldiers ducked and covered as the alien fire rained down. The once hopeful atmosphere shifted to one of urgency as they fought to protect what remained. With every blast, they felt the weight of their mission bearing down upon them, but they also felt a fierce determination to stand their ground and defend their planet. Voreth commanded his fleet to strike with precision. He ordered the ships to engage in tactical maneuvers designed to outflank the humans and regain control of the battlefield. His eyes narrowed as he assessed the situation. Determination burning within him. The humans would pay for their defiance. As the two sides clashed, the battle intensified. Beams of energy illuminated the sky, a dance of destruction as humanity and the Zenthari fought for supremacy. Each side, refusing to back down, soldiers moved in coordinated formations, aiming to exploit weaknesses in the alien lines. while the Zenthari responded with ruthless efficiency. The battlefield became a whirlwind of chaos, and noise the cries of soldiers mingling with the roar of weapons fire, and the shattering of structures as humanity fought to reclaim their home each moment, stretched into eternity filled with courage and desperation. They pressed on, knowing that the outcome of this battle would determine their fate. With every passing second, the stakes grew higher as the tide of battle swung like a pendulum each side. Refusing to yield, the spirit of humanity burned brightly even in the face of overwhelming odds, and as the fighting raged on, they would not forget the power of unity and the strength that comes from fighting for one's home against an ancient and ruthless foe. As the battle raged on, the intensity of the conflict escalated each side. Desperate to claim victory, the air was thick with smoke and the acrid scent of burning debris. The sky was illuminated by bursts of energy as beams of light clashed. In a dazzling display of destruction, humanity fought fiercely to defend their planet, while the Zenthari sought to reassert their dominance. In the command center, Elena and General Morgan monitored the chaos unfolding outside their walls, their eyes glued to the screens displaying live feeds from the battlefield. The data was overwhelming, but one thing was clear: humanity was holding its ground. Despite the odds stacked against them, the unity forged in the fires of battle had become their greatest weapon. As Vorith commanded his fleet to regroup, he felt a growing sense of desperation. His arrogance had blinded him to the tenacity of the humans, and now he was witnessing their fierce resolve firsthand. He ordered his ships to shift tactics and launch a concentrated attack against the most fortified human positions. But even as he did so, he felt the weight of uncertainty creeping in. The humans were fighting with an intensity he had never encountered before. On the ground, the soldiers pushed back against the Zenthari forces, their determination fueling their every move. They fought not just for survival, but for the future of their planet. Each blast fired, each missile launched became a testament to their collective spirit, the sounds of victory mingling with the sounds of war as they pressed forward into the fray. General Morgan felt a surge of hope as he observed the humans standing firm against the alien onslaught. He knew they had created a force that could withstand even the most advanced technology. The tide was beginning to turn as more and more Zenthari ships fell from the sky, their once formidable fleet now struggling to maintain control. In that critical moment, a massive explosion erupted as one of the Zenthari cruisers was hit squarely by a barrage of missiles. The shockwave rippled through the air, sending debris flying in all directions. The sight of the enemy ship crumbling ignited a fire within the hearts of Earth's defenders. They were gaining momentum, and they could feel victory within their grasp. Elena shouted in excitement as she saw the damage on the screens. "Look, they are faltering," she exclaimed, her voice filled with exhilaration. "We need to capitalize on this momentum now." General Morgan nodded, rallying his forces to press the attack. The humans had tasted blood, and they were determined to seize this opportunity to push back the alien threat. As the fighting continued, the Zenthari commander felt the pressure mounting. His fleet was dwindling, and his forces were losing cohesion. He ordered a retreat, but it was too late. The humans pressed forward, exploiting every weakness. They could find the sound of victory was palpable as the tide of battle surged in favor of Earth. One by one, the remaining Zenthari ships fell victim to the coordinated attacks from Earth's forces. Beams of energy clashed against missile barrages, illuminating the sky with a kaleidoscope of colors. Each explosion a testament to humanity's unyielding spirit. With every ship that fell, the resolve of the human soldiers grew stronger. They fought harder, believing in their mission and the strength of their unity. They were no longer a collection of divided nations, but a singular force fighting against a common enemy. The pride of Earth rallied behind them, igniting a fervor that surged through their ranks. As the last of the Zenthari ships began to retreat, Vorith felt a mixture of rage and disbelief wash over him. He could not comprehend how the humans had managed to turn the tide so drastically, it was a humiliation he had never expected. As the remnants of his fleet scattered through the cosmos, he knew this battle would be remembered as a turning point, a defining moment that would echo through the annals of history. On the ground, the cheers of triumph erupted as soldiers celebrated their hard-won victory. They had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, united, as one they had shown the universe that humanity would not be easily extinguished. And as the dust began to settle, the realization of their achievement began to sink in. They had fought for their home, and in doing so they had forged a legacy that would last for generations to come. As the echoes of victory resonated through the air, the soldiers of Earth stood together amidst the ruins of what had once been a battlefield. Their hearts swelled with pride and relief. They had fought against an ancient foe and emerged triumphant. The skies, once darkened by the shadow of the Zenthari fleet, were now clear, revealing a blue expanse that felt like a promise of new beginnings. In the command center, General Morgan surveyed the aftermath of the battle. The screens flickered with reports of losses and damages, but also with the undeniable news of victory. Elena stood beside him, her eyes wide with disbelief and joy. "We did it," she whispered. "We actually did it." Yet as the cheers rang out, there was a solemn understanding that hung in the air. The cost of their victory weighed heavily on their hearts. They had lost many brave souls in the fight for their planet, and the scars of battle would linger long after the dust had settled. Morgan turned to his team, a sense of responsibility enveloping him. "We must honor those we lost. We cannot forget their sacrifice." As the world began to recover from the chaos, leaders from across the globe gathered to discuss the future. Their unity, forged in battle, had created a new path forward. They knew they could not allow the lessons of this conflict to fade into memory. They needed to ensure that humanity would be prepared should the darkness ever return. Elena spoke passionately during the summit, urging the leaders to invest in research and technology that could protect Earth from future threats. "We have seen what lies beyond our world," she said. "We must be vigilant. We must prepare ourselves for whatever may come next." Her words struck a chord with those gathered as they recognized the need for cooperation in the face of the unknown. The nations of Earth began to forge new alliances, forming treaties aimed at sharing resources and knowledge. The spirit of unity ignited a movement that would forever change the landscape of global relations. Meanwhile, in the remnants of the Zenthari fleet, Vorith struggled with the weight of his defeat. His arrogance had cost him dearly, and the humiliation of retreat was a burden he would carry for ages. He convened with his remaining commanders, plotting their next moves in a universe that had now become perilous and unpredictable. He realized that the humans had proven themselves a formidable adversary. As the Zenthari Empire reflected on its failures, the message sent from Earth lingered in their minds, a warning that would echo across the stars. Should they dare to challenge humanity again, they would face consequences far beyond their expectations. The fight for survival had ignited a fire within the hearts of Earth's inhabitants, and that fire would not be easily extinguished. In the months that followed, the world transformed as nations began to collaborate on defense initiatives, creating a global network of shared intelligence and technology. They established protocols for communication and cooperation, ensuring that humanity would be ready for any threat that might emerge from the cosmos. The legacy of the battle against the Zenthari became a tale told through generations, a story of resilience, courage, and unity in the face of overwhelming odds. Children grew up hearing the stories of their parents and grandparents who had stood together against a common enemy. They learned the value of cooperation and the strength found in diversity. As Earth entered a new era of collaboration, the scars of war served as a reminder of what was at stake and the need for vigilance against the shadows that lingered beyond their world. Humanity had faced its darkest hour and emerged stronger, wiser, and forever changed, united in purpose, ready to defend their home against whatever challenges lay ahead. In the vast expanse of the universe, they had forged a legacy of hope that would endure for generations to come.